Well, we have found ourselves back in New York at Midstate Correctional Facility. We have a little bit of an update on the Messiah Nantwi. This is the original video that I put up on it. I guess it was, I don't know, a month ago. And then I noticed that Sean went there, and I put up a video about that. I don't know, a few days later, I guess it was. And people had an immortal shit fit about me stealing his content. First of all, if anybody has any questions about where I stand with law enforcement, feel free to check the description. If anybody don't understand how YouTube works, feel free to read the description. There's a fair use disclaimer. I give Sean complete credit for his video. If you got any questions, A, watch the video all the way through. They usually answer the questions. And 2, read the description. It's not that difficult. Also, people hate it when I do this. 83% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you're at your laptop, click the button, and we'll move along. Also, I would like to note, I was just looking through analytics. We're at 851 subscribers. I would like to thank everybody that has subscribed to this channel on the road to 1,000. We'll be there before you know it. Anyway, we're doing Messiah Nantwi follow-up today, but first let's get a little backstory on who Messiah Nantwi was.
Police made an arrest in that brutal murder caught on camera at a smoke shop in Harlem.
And we're learning more about that suspect who's also accused of the shooting death of another man just a day before that smoke shop killing. Let's get right to Fox 5's Briella Tomasetti. She's live in Lower Manhattan outside the criminal courthouse with the latest. Good morning, Briella.
Good morning to both of you, Tashani and Dan. And yeah, 21-year-old Messiah Nantwi has a rap sheet dating back to 2021 when he was arrested for shooting at 3 police officers. Now, the Bronx DA's office tells us that his bail was originally set at $500,000. The judge then reduced it to $300,000. Nantwi only had to pay 10% of that, so $30,000, and then he was right back out on the streets.
This store has been the scene of so many brutal beatings, stabbings, shooting just several months ago.
21-year-old Messiah Nantwi is under arrest and awaiting arraignment in connection to a deadly shooting at a Harlem smoke shop community activists say is surrounded by violence.
It brings opportunity for death. It brings an opportunity for proliferation of drugs.
Not only is Nantwi being charged in that shooting, which unfolded Easter Sunday, but cops say he also faces murder charges for shooting a 19-year-old man to death in East Harlem the day before.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of guns in our community, a lot of mental illness.
Shocking surveillance video shows the fatal encounter as it unfolds at the Malcolm X Boulevard smoke shop. Nantwi, seen in the top left corner of the frame wearing dark clothing, a hat, and white sneakers, is speaking with 36-year-old Brandon Brunson in an orange sweatshirt. Suddenly, as Brunson turns around, Nantwi shoots him at point-blank range. We froze the video here because the rest is too graphic to show on TV. While Brunson is on the floor, Nantwi fires his gun again and then rummages through the lifeless victim's pockets.
It's horrible. It's horrible. You know, the shootings, the killings.
On top of the 2 murders Nantwi is being charged with, he was out on bail on attempted murder charges for a shootout with police in February 2021.
Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I do not condone any of this 22-year-old Messiah Nantwi's actions. I'm just saying, once he gets to prison, the COs have a duty to protect him. That's where we're at.
Prosecutors allege Nantwi shot at an NYPD sergeant and 2 officers who tried to stop him from spraying graffiti on a building in the South Bronx. The cops, who were not injured, returned fire 31 times to be exact. Nantwi was taken to the hospital for critical injuries.
Returned fire 31 times, and nobody's surprised about that either. I'm just saying.
His case is still awaiting trial more than 2 years later. Again, Nantwi is in custody. He is expected to be arraigned here at Manhattan Criminal Court at some point today. It's unclear exactly when that will happen, but it could be as early as this morning. Now we're live in Lower Manhattan. Dan, we'll send it back to you.
Okay, Briella, we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you, Briella. So then, that was from 2 years ago. That's who Mr. Nantwi was, and here we are today. Well, a month ago.
Lawmakers, formerly incarcerated individuals, and advocates rallying inside the New York State Capitol in Albany on Tuesday.
We need communities. We need communities.
This comes after a 22-year-old inmate incarcerated at Midstate Correctional Facility in Oneida County was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital Saturday. Messiah Nantwi was from the Bronx.
You should not have to be lucky to make it home from prison.
At the direction of Governor Kathy Hochul, the Department of
Who is a complete and utter idiot.
Corrections placed 15 staff members on leave following Nantwi's death. The New York Times interviewed 9 prisoners who claimed Nantwi was brutally beaten by corrections officers, but their accounts have not been verified. His cause of death remains under investigation.
Now we must be strong for Messiah. We must be strong for Messiah and the countless other Messiahs.
Outside the Capitol building, corrections officers continue to strike for safer working conditions and demand a full repeal of the HALT Act, which aims to limit the use of solitary confinement, among other things.
Repeal HALT! They have been more concerned with the mental health of inmates instead of your mental health. They have been more concerned with inmates seeing their family than you seeing your family. And until that changes and they get the message, then this is exactly where you need to be.
Those rallying inside, advocating for HALT and other reform.
Incarcerated people's lives matter now. HALT is the law.
HALT is the law. And here's where we're at right now.
We'll get to the latest on the prison strikes and the firings of some corrections officers in a minute. But first, the death of an inmate at Midstate Correctional Facility is under investigation.
The governor pressed with questions about this today during an unrelated news conference. It is your top story. 22-year-old Messiah Nantwi was brought to Wynn Hospital Saturday morning and pronounced dead. He has been in Midstate since last May on weapons charges. The commissioner of the Department of Corrections says all staff members involved are on administrative leave. Involved in what? We don't know. Docs declined further comment, citing the ongoing investigation. But today, at the very end of a news conference, the governor, who had left the podium, went back when a reporter asked her a question about what happened at Midstate.
Deeply troubling. I'm analyzing the early reports on what is happening. The actual cause of death is not known, but it is my highest priority to get to the bottom of this and find out exactly what happened. We'll make sure the press knows as soon as we do. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
The Department of Corrections says state police and the state attorney general's office are investigating. This death comes more than a week after 10 people at Marcy Correctional were indicted in the killing of Marcy inmate Robert Brooks in December. Midstate and Marcy Correctional facilities are across the street from each other.
Here's the wrap-up for where we're at now.
Disturbing and graphic details have been released in how Midstate Correctional inmate Messiah Nantwi died on March 1st. This as 10 corrections officers from both Midstate and Marcy Correctional facilities are indicted and face a judge in Oneida County Court for the first time. It is your top story tonight. First, let's break down the top charges for each defendant. Charged with murder, manslaughter, gang assault, and more are Caleb Blair and Jonah Levi. Manslaughter, gang assault, conspiracy, and more, Thomas Eck, Craig Klemick, Daniel Berger, Francis Chandler, and David Ferrone. Charged with conspiracy, Nicholas Vitale. Tampering with physical evidence, Daniel Slauson. And offering a false instrument for filing.
Offering a false instrument for filing, because everything's got to be so particular. That's just a false statement, a false document. Whatever you submitted, it was a lie. And it's going to a public office, and it's going to be a public record. That's all that's about. They have to, for some, I'm not sure what the whole, anyway, that's just how they write it. And also, like personnel files for law enforcement, they're all public record. Which should show if they've had any disciplinary actions before. The only thing that's redacted is their home address, their phone number, or social security number. Other than that, telephone number. Other than that, it's all public record. Now, they'll put it behind a paywall or a court order, but there's your transparency.
Michael Efert, News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris was in court for today's proceedings. She has the graphic details from the indictment, how Messiah Nantwi died, and how some of the corrections officers charged in his death are accused of trying to cover it up.
The ones who used to hold the keys wore the cuffs into Oneida County Court Wednesday, charged with crimes ranging from manslaughter and murder.
Not an intentional murder, but a murder so depraved and so wanton and disregarding of human life that New York law allows it to rise to the level of intentional murder.
To gang assault and conspiracy.
On the following morning, at a diner called Raspberries in Oneida County, all of the co-conspirators met and agreed to continue with the story that everything they did was completely proper.
The special prosecutor says 10:55 a.m. March 1st, Midstate Correctional Facility inmate Messiah Nantwi was fine, and by 10:58, a radio call was made for backup and a CERT team response. Special Prosecutor Bill Fitzpatrick says the grand jury in this case suggests it's something that spiraled out of control unnecessarily.
The alleged contact that began between the National Guard and Mr. Nantwi had to do with Mr. Nantwi interjecting himself in another incarcerated individual's effort to obtain medication.
Some of the 10 officers charged in
Still not a death sentence.
Midstate Correctional Facility inmate Messiah Nantwi's death are accused of beating him with their fists, boots, and batons in the head, delivering 69 blows to his body alone, continuing the assault in a stairwell on the way to the infirmary, and dumping the 22-year-old in a holding cell in the infirmary, and continuing the assault there, with a conscious effort to cover it up.
Fragments of Mr. Nantwi's entrance into the infirmary are captured on one corrections officer's body-worn camera. It is not a continuing flow, but there are enough.
I'm glad he mentioned that. Where are all the body cameras of all the ones involved? We saw Morrissey. Where's Midstate? I'm just throwing that out there.
Indications to name and identify the individuals involved and some of the things that occurred. Many other corrections officers, apparently intentionally, either turned off their cameras, placed them in an area of concealment, or simply looked the other way.
After the
Did they? Did they? Do we believe that? I mean, they lie to us all the time.
deadly assault, Fitzpatrick says, came a plot to plant a weapon.
Of course, a plot to plant a weapon, because you always hear him say, well, he had a gun. They had a gun. There was a gun at the scene. No, we're in 2025. If it's on video, nope, you planted that. I'm sorry. Law enforcement has brought this on themselves. Correction, this is prime example of it. They do it. How often is that done? I'm just throwing that out there.
That was caught on tape.
A body-worn camera intentionally hung in a men's room at the infirmary of Midstate caught two of the co-conspirators discussing the conspiracy to plant the weapon, again posthumously, on Mr. Nantwi.
From the State Corrections Commissioner in Utica today, acknowledgement and a promise to do better.
The people entrusted to our care deserve better than this. We hired external law firms to conduct a full review of the system, which is currently underway.
Not in court today, 6 others who are cooperating with the special prosecutor, 2 of whom are pleading guilty to felonies, 4 to misdemeanors. The 10 officers in court today are due back in Oneida County Court through May to report on plea offers. Those for whom bail was set posted bail. Jolene Ferris, News Channel 2.
Thank you, Jolene. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that one. Mr. Nantwi, this is as far as we are at this point. So, let me know what you think about in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Also, again, 83% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you got your laptop, click the button, and we will move along. Let me know what you think about this one, and I'm out.